All right, hello and welcome. So today we're going to dive into a piece of Spanish grammar that, let's be honest, trips a lot of us up. The negative command. You know, when you want to tell someone not to do something. It sounds simple, right? But there's this little twist, and I promise once you see it, everything is just going to click into place.
Okay, so let's get right into the puzzle. Check this out. On the left, you've got your normal affirmative commands. Hazlo, dime. Easy enough. But then, look at the negative versions on the right. No lo hagas, no me digas. Whoa, it's not just slapping a no in front of the verb, is it? The verb itself totally changes form. So what's going on here?
And yeah, that is the big question, isn't it? Why do they look so different? It really feels like you have to memorize a whole new set of verbs, a totally separate system. But what if I told you there's a secret, a shortcut? What if this whole time the negative command wasn't some new thing at all, but just a really clever use of a grammar point you might already be working on?
So let's unlock this thing. I like to call it the subjunctive secret. It's this one simple idea, and I'm telling you, once you get it, all those weird-looking verbs are going to make perfect sense.
And hey, don't worry, this isn't some super advanced, expert-level grammar we're talking about. Nope, mastering the negative command is actually a key part of that B1 or intermediate level of Spanish. The logic is way more straightforward than you'd think, and it's probably the exact right next step for you on your journey.
So this is the point where most people start to panic a little, right? You're probably thinking, oh no, do I seriously have to memorize a completely new set of verb endings for this? Well, take a deep breath, because the answer, thankfully, is a big resounding no.
Okay, here it is, the big secret. The negative imperative is the present subjunctive. That's it. It's not some new mysterious conjugation. It's just the subjunctive mood, which you're probably learning anyway. So when you tell someone not to do something, you're just grabbing the present subjunctive form of that verb. No new charts to memorize, no new endings. It's like finding out you already have the key in your pocket. All right, the secret's out. So let's build on that foundation and see how it works with our regular verbs. So just take a look at this table. For an AR verb like hablar, the command isn't no habla, it's no hables. For an ER verb like comer, it's not no comes, it's no comas. You see that pattern happening? Those endings, the ace, n, and the as, ais, an, yep, those are the present subjunctive endings for tú, usted, vosotros, and ustedes. See? It's the same thing. And it all comes back to that awesome little memory trick for the subjunctive, the opposite vowel rule. It's super simple. Your AR verbs, they grab endings with an E. And your ER and IR verbs, they grab endings with an A. It's this simple, beautiful, consistent pattern that just works every single time with regular verbs. It's a real game changer.
All right, let's meet the irregulars. I mean, come on, it wouldn't be Spanish without them, right? But here's the best part. If you've already dipped your toes into the subjunctive, these are going to look like old friends. Seriously, no new surprises are hiding around the corner.
Because the rule still applies 100%. The only reason these commands are irregular is because their subjunctive forms are irregular. And where does that usually come from? You guessed it, the yo form in the present tense. Think about tener. The yo form is tengo. Well, that G sound just follows it right into the subjunctive, tenga, tengas. And that means it follows it into the negative command too.
So here are the big ones, the greatest hits, if you will, all in the to form. Don't be is no seas. Don't go is no vayas. And a classic don't do it is no lo hagas. You're going to hear and use these all the time. But just keep telling yourself, these are not new words. They are just the irregular subjunctive forms you already need to know. Okay, so you've got the verb form down. That's the hard part. Now for the final twist, the last piece of the puzzle. Where do we put those little pronouns? You know, the me, te, lo. Because their placement is the other huge difference between telling someone to do something and telling them not to.
The rule is so clear, and it's all about contrast. For an affirmative or positive command, you literally stick the pronouns right onto the end of the verb. They're like a little caboose on a train. Dímelo. See? All one word. But for a negative command, they do the complete opposite. They detach, and they jump all the way to the front, right before the verb. So it becomes no me lo digas, two separate words.
So, we've got two golden rules, and they are opposites. Rule 1. If the command is affirmative, you attach the pronoun to the end, glued right on. Rule 2. If the command is negative, the pronoun goes before the verb as a separate word. That's it. Positive, attach, negative, before. It really is that simple.
Let's look at it one more time. Háblame, talk to me, versus no me hables, don't talk to me. And hey, here's a really important detail you might notice. With those affirmative commands, when you stick a pronoun on the end, you often have to add a little accent mark to keep the stress on the right syllable. Like dime turns into dímelo. But you know what? With negative commands, you never have to worry about that. That's one less thing to think about, which is always nice.
All right, let's put it all together. You take rule number 1, using the present subjunctive for the verb, and you combine it with rule number 2, putting the pronoun before the verb, and that's it. You've done it. You have officially mastered the negative command in Spanish. And remember, this isn't just some boring grammar rule from a textbook. This is how people actually talk. Take the phrase no me digas. Literally, it means don't tell me, but you'll hear it all the time to mean things like no way, or get out of here, or you're kidding me. See? Knowing this stuff unlocks the door to real everyday Spanish.
So look, if you only remember 2 things from this entire explainer, make it these 2. 1, the negative command is just the present subjunctive. 2, the pronouns always go before the verb. If you can burn those 2 rules into your brain, you have officially cracked the code of the Imperativo Negativo.
So, I'm going to leave you with a little challenge to put this all into practice. Now that you know the secret, now that you're in the club, what's one simple piece of advice you could give someone in Spanish using a negative command? Think of something real, something you'd actually say. Give it a shot. Thanks so much for joining me.